All right. Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here with you today. My name is James Wyatt. I teach science at Strock Intermediate. I've done 6 years of elementary school math science. I'll wait for you to stop applauding. And then I've also done some stuff at online universities. I'm a super technical, nerdy type of guy, so I like to do these things. And I'm excited to get to be here today with you, share a few tips with you on my show. I'm calling it What's Up with Wyatt because that's also my newsletter that I send out to the parents. But I want to show you some tips in technology, a few different things you might could do to put cloud services on your side. This is really cool to me because we get to focus on all the innovation. There's so much going on right now. I figure, why aren't we sharing this in an easier way, and why aren't we working harder to get it to each other, not just to parents and students, but hopefully some of this helps you reimagine learning there, and we'll be super focused. So I'll have all this up for you later. There's going to be a bit.ly, and well, actually, I'm going to use the tiny URLs we were going to talk about in a minute, but the focus of this is cloud technology. We have a lot of options we can do when we're trying to share any information without actually being in that same spot. So I wanted to explain a few of these things here. A living document is a document that's still ongoing. It's being worked on. We have one at Strock that's our Cougar Playbook. And as we come up with new things or admin change their minds, we adjust the living document. Hopefully most of your world is flexible as well, and I'm sure you've got your own ideas for how you're going to use those technologies. A great resource, though, is this limits all the emails. I've been around and around on how do I best communicate with parents and students and even admin, staff, whomever. And I don't like the idea of constantly sending emails out. I've got 3 teen daughters in Cy-Fair schools, and if all their teachers are emailing me, that's a lot of attachments I have to go through and cut out of my Gmail. So I've tried to limit the way I'm emailing other parents, and a living document gives me that advantage. So what I can do is find something like the main website. And if you have your teacher website, it doesn't have to be anything super crazy. I'm going to see if I left mine up here. I'm going to have to find it for you real quick. But what we're hoping to find is a different way that they can come in and do the same things, see the same information, and not have to worry about it being something that is on track for anything they need to open on a regular basis. So let me see real quickly if I can pull that one up. I wanted to show you just how some of this works if you're not already used to it. But hopefully you're editing and maintaining your Gmail, your Google, all those types of things. So this would be my site, and on my front page I just have a link right here that they can go to, and then I will update this all the time with everything I'm doing. And of course the main one is my What's Up with Wyatt newsletter. So when they click on that, it takes them here. This is my living document. That's a schedule. It just goes through the week, generally speaking, and it's the same as is displayed on the board in my classroom. So this lets parents know loosely where we are, and I've decided to run mine this year top to bottom. So the newest one, I just copy paste in the top every Thursday or Friday before the next week. And yeah, if I need to flex this a bit, I will. We can change it. It's fine. But it lets them know something's a daily grade, exactly the name of the things that they're doing in STEM scopes, whatever else it might be that they're trying to figure out. It's all right here on one centralized document. And I update it as we go through. And if I have to use strike through or something, I can use those technology bits up here, the formatting, to help me. And then that way parents have one place to check. So they'll start maybe on my website, and you know that with varying levels that parents will or will not always check everything. We don't always have time to check. I don't want to tell you how much of my daughter's stuff I kind of pass up until I notice their grades are low. So I'm hoping that this is one thing that the parents can get to. It will help them, better find out what's going on. I'm really hoping it encourages responsibility for the students as well. And my next one I do a lot of is the warm-up. This is new this year, being one-to-one for me and having them with the ability to type. So my guys come in every day. They refresh this same link. It's the first link in their Schoology folder. And I add one warm-up a day, and they just copy paste it. They come over here, right click copy, and then they have their own science journal, and they jump into that one and paste it at the bottom. I can review this at the end of the year as a daily grade, minor grade, at the end of that reporting period. I can come up and check on their activity for it, and we'll cover that in a little bit. But I can look through and make sure that they are doing their jobs when they're supposed to, because I've had them share this with me. The first thing we did was create a shared drive, and I'll show you that in a minute. But this takes a lot off me. It works for the whole team. Both of the others that teach 7th grade in Strzok have access to this, and if they want to, they can have the same feature. Sometimes it's just asking them a question. Sometimes it's letting them label the thing, fill in some blanks, whatever I think is going to best suit my needs. So your mileage could vary on that. Vocabulary starter slides is another very similar technology. Now mine keep this in the same online journal, but I will prompt them almost like sentence stems with some of the main words we're going to focus on. So this gives them everything that they know we're going to do, and then I guide through on mine. So by the end of the day, I've done this 5 times, and I've got all my slides out in my folders, which accomplishes a few things. Any student that's out, I can snip and save and send this whole thing to them. I could copy paste it as a page inside Schoology. They can share it with each other. Again, I can look in to see what they're doing. So if we do an open notes assignment, they have access to the same things. So anytime I just take these straight out of a lot of the district playbook stuff, and then I just figure out which ones each class needs. If I have English language learners that have differing abilities, I could throw those down, and I could do it in any number of ways. But again, maintaining this, and I have a separate one for 8th grade, maintaining this is something that we can collaborate on with both myself and Mr. Horton, Mr. O'Farrell, could all work together on this if we wanted to, and then share it out. And to me, that's the ultimate goal of most of these is, can we do something to help each other while we're helping our students? Link lesson plans. Okay, this is one, I'll be honest, I wasn't too sure I was going to share with you, just because I'm going to kind of put myself out there. But I'm going to show you my lesson plans, so they're good, bad, or ugly. And it starts with one of these that I copy paste every day. And then as I come in, I've got all my stuff in here. Here's where the linked part comes in. We know admin. We know they want to see things. Sometimes they are, fastidious about it, and they need to know what we're doing. Rather than typing on my vocabulary words, I'm just linking them to that same document I just showed you. Rather than link type my warm-ups out, they get the same link. They can see it. Everybody can. Again, my teammates can see this, and if they get stuck or need something else, they can see it, because this is a living document. It shows what I'm aiming to get completed, and it shows the links of everything I'm using. If it's a STEM scope, if it's a video explaining a concept, if it's a form I made, I can go through everything I want to on here, and they'll be able to check it out with me. I like this idea because it's good on collaboration, it's good on transparency, it's good on accountability, and we like to say clear is kind. I'm sure you've heard that from somebody else, maybe your admin or in the same school of thought. But I want parents to see all this too, and that's the neat part of most of this, is I can let parents see all of this whenever we get going. I'm going to show you the share when we do the tiny URL here in a moment, but I've sent all of this out to parents, not my lesson plans, but I've sent these 2 out so parents know, because I want them to be able to see their own child's growth and progress and hold them accountable. So then maybe that's another living document that you would want to explore. The shared resource list, and mine is minor because I'm starting over this year, but the other one I had in my other school, I just put all my videos here. Any link to something I found neat, interesting, or fascinating, throw it down here, share it out with my team. That's it. It's a living thing. They can take it. They can, trash or treasure. I like to say use or ignore. Doesn't hurt my feelings. If nobody wants it, not a problem. But at least they know the link is here. And if we get into dire straits and there needs to be a sub, if we need to have something else, I can pull them up again. Plus next year, I've saved myself a little bit of time because I've already got my resources. I don't have to go back and dig them out again. So I always keep a shared link, and by the end of the year, that one's going to be giant. I'm going to have all kinds of cool stuff on it. This one's the one I use the most this year, is my remote instruction document. You've probably seen it as something in your own school. Maybe it looks a little different. When one of my guys got coronavirus early on, he was out for a bit and couldn't come to school, was still able to put in a lot of time at home. I made this document, and this was the tiny URL that I used. And then I wrote this on the marker board in his classroom. And I said, go to this. And then I could do this, whatever I needed in the lesson plan here, and each student would see it on their own screen. And it worked really well because the sub had access to it, and whoever was in there could watch them and make sure they got it done. And then they all knew exactly what was going to be done in here. And then again, if that regular teacher wanted to jump in, they could adjust this because I could share access as an editor to them while everybody else has view-only access. So this is a remote way to give instructions, to give information. I also had one on the warm-up explaining where to go from there. So they were able to follow all these instructions remotely without having me to print anything out, without having to worry about copies at the last minute, anything like that. So a remote document can be used in a number of ways. One of the other ones that we have, and I forgot to pull up ahead of time, is our live bus feed. You may have something similar where the buses are dismissed. We just keep this up in the classroom, and then as the lovely Miss Cole types them down, we know which students are able to dismiss at what times. So that one makes it super easy. So let's jump back real quick. I skipped the URL shortener, and my favorite is TinyURL. And we're going to do this in real time and see if I'm as cool as I think I am. But in this feature is another easy way that we can get something copied, shortened, adjusted, and then that way I can share a tiny URL instead of having to share a giant one. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to share this actual document here, right? My slideshow with my links and ideas. When you go up to share, I normally keep it restricted to just Klein, but in our case right here, we're going to want it. I want this one open to any of y'all who might need it. I'm going to make sure it's a viewer only so that nobody bothers it. And then I'm going to copy that link. Over here, you just paste it in, and then it's going to start with tinyurl.com/ and then whatever else you want to do. So I don't want to type a long one, so what about... let's go with something like that. Wyatt Cloud Tips 2021. I will let you know it is case sensitive, so a lowercase c and an uppercase C are going to be different. So if that is free, I'll click this and it's going to go and says, hey, this is great, you're done. If I sign in, it'll save them all. But as of right now, that one's there. I can copy it. I can put it in the bottom of something else. And of course, if I search this right here, there's our link. So we're good to go. So I use this all the time for parents. At my open house, I just said I think tinyurl.com/whatsupwithwyatt. And anybody that comes in can take a picture of that, and then anything I put on there, they're able to access later on. And if I link it to a living document, I can adjust it as I go through the night, forgetting, remembering, whatever else happens, and drop it all in there. So the last part of this was we jump back to our original slide here. It's just a couple of tips. If you have not done uBlock Origins, you're missing out. This is a free ad blocker. Install it. It'll drop in right up here. You can see mine, and it blocks all kinds of everything. I show a ton of YouTube being in science, but also just the nerdy stuff I want my kids to know, both at home and at school. So I always put that on mine first way, so it blocks all those intrusive ads, blocks the sidebar stuff, cuts out a lot of junk from Google. It's free, and so far the district hasn't blocked it yet. So I would strongly encourage you, search up uBlock Origin, plug it in. Finally, just wrapping this up, as I thank you for your time and attention today, don't compare yourself to anybody else. There's a famous quote that says, comparison is the thief of joy. I searched to find out who said it, and there's no definitive source, so why bother comparing even that? My stuff is suited for me. I'm a nerd here in my man cave at home. I do streaming and all kinds of videos, software editing for fun. This comes natural. This is fun for me. May not be fun for you. As a teacher, I know there are a few things that I find more agitating than sitting in a room or PD or something and having somebody else that doesn't do my job tell me how to do my job. So I'm hoping that this helps you as a teacher to teacher, that any of these are good. But if none of this speaks to you, don't do it. Keep going. Trust yourself. You're the paid professional here, and you know what your students needs more than I do or anybody else. But I do want to encourage you to stay open-minded, see what else you can find, and maybe there's more tools out there that you could use to your benefit and those of your students. So that's my talk for today. I appreciate you jumping in. My link will be out there later on. My email is jwyatt2 at Strach. If there's anything I can do to help you out, I would love to be there to question and answer. I talk fast, I type faster. I would love to type back and forth to you. Until you stop responding, I'll be there. So thank you so much for your time right now, and hopefully I'll see you all again. Take care.